Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Welspun Enterprises Limited Q1 FY22 earnings conference call hosted by DAM Capital Advisors Private Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Mohit Kumar from DAM Capital Advisors Limited. Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Kumar.
Thank you, Niro. On behalf of DAM Capital, we welcome all the participants to the Q1 FY22 earnings call for Welspun Enterprises. From the management side, we have with us Mr. Sandeep Garg, Managing Director and CEO, and Mr. Akhil Jindal, Group CFO and Head Strategy. We'll start with a brief update for the quarter and then proceed to the Q&A session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mohit. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Welspun Enterprises Limited, I welcome you all for Q1 FY 2022 results con call. I hope that you and your families are keeping well and taking adequate care. On this call from management side, I have with me Mr. Akhil Jindal, Group CFO and Head Strategy. As we continue to sail through these unprecedented times, we at Welspun are taking extreme caution and following highest standards of hygiene and safety across all our locations. And in order to create awareness and protect our employees, additional efforts have been implemented. I'm thankful to all of my colleagues for rising to this challenge and ensuring business continuity. I'm sure that these times will bring along new learnings and would shape us to emerge as a stronger and more resilient organization. In this call, I will cover the key business highlights, and later Akhil will cover the key financial highlights. Now, let me quickly share key recent developments. First, I would want to cover the order book as on 30th June 2021, which stands at approximately 8,000 crores. Our current HAM order portfolio stands at 7 projects worth about 9,870 crores, out of which 3 projects worth nearly 3,400 crores have achieved PCOD or COD, and others are in advanced stages of implementation. Additionally, we have one BOOT project of rupees 2,122 crores, which is also in advanced stages of implementation. In an aggregate, the total portfolio of roads stands at approximately 12,000 crores as on 30th June 2021. In addition, we have an EPC order of 2,366 crores, thus giving the outstanding EPC order book as on 30th June of 2021 at approximately 8,100 crores. I must clarify that this order book excludes the Kozhikode Bypass HAM project, which At this point in time, the harmonious substitution for which has not taken place, as NHAI has taken certain stands which may be detrimental to our interest. And hence, we are evaluating our decision on this project. To give you the brief about the split of 8,100 crores of order book, approximately 5,560 crores is from road sector and about 2,540 crores is from water segment. I would now want to cover the key updates on our road projects and water projects. The first project that I would want to cover is Delhi-Meerut Expressway, Delhi section. It's a HAM project from NHAI, the 14-lane expressway. The completion cost for the project stands at 896 crores. The balance annuity that we need to receive for this project stand at 472.9 crores. The current outstanding debt stands at 389 crores at a rate of 7.82% per annum. I would want to update the current status that we have received the 6th annuity of this project in accordance with the payment schedule. The second project I would want to cover is Chutmalpur Ganeshpur and Roorkee Chutmalpur Gagalheri, or normally called CGRG project. It is another HAM project under NHAI AGs. The project is both in UP and Uttarakhand. The PCOD for the same project was achieved on 5th of August 2021.
2020. PCOD got achieved last year.
Yeah, sorry, my apologies, 2020. I stand corrected. The estimated completion cost of the project is 1,108 crores. The project has been financed at 7.75% for the debt, which stands at 484 crores, and the balance annuities receivable stand at 654.5 crores. For this project also, the first annuity has been received in April 2021 as per schedule. The third project that I would want to cover is Gagalheri Saharanpur Yamunanagar, or GSY. This is an adjoining project to CGRG project. This project is primarily in UP and Haryana. The PCOD for this project has been achieved on 31st October 2020 with an estimated project completion cost of 1,388 crores. The debt for this project stands at 608 crores, financed at 7.75% per annum, and the balance annuities receivable stand at 816.7 crores. The first annuity of this project has been received in June 2021. The fourth project that I would want to cover in the road is Chikli-Tarsar in Maharashtra. This is another HAM project from NHAI. It is on NH6 in Maharashtra. The bid project costs, along with the estimated escalation, stands at about 1,238 crores. At the current moment, the project has achieved progress of more than 90%, which is the 5th milestone under the concession agreement, and we have applied for PCOD for this project. which we expect shortly. The fifth project that I would want to cover is the PWD project in Maharashtra on HAM basis, which is in Amravati district of Maharashtra, or we normally call AM2. This is a project of upgradation of state projects to two-laning with paved shoulder road. The project cost with escalation is expected to be approximately 1,620 crores. The physical progress of this project stands at about 80% at the end of Q1 FY22. We have, under the COVID provisions, we have received extension of time of 6 months for this project already. We expect the project to be completed ahead of schedule. The sixth project that I would want to cover is Anta Simaria, a project, once again a HAM project from NHAI. It is primarily a Ganga Bridge project with approach road. The bid project costs along with its escalation is estimated to be in the range of 1,346 crores. The physical progress for the project is about 28% at the end of Q1 FY22. Here again, we have received an interim extension of time of 6 months has been granted by NHAI. The seventh project on road side that I would want to cover is Satanatha from Nagapattinam, or SNRP project. As the project was originally bidded with on a basis of 4-lane road project and 6-lane structures. However, at the time of appointed date in 5th of October 2020, NHAI changed the configuration to 4-lane road project and 4-lane structures. The negative order for this reduction in the width of the structures has been estimated by IE to be approximately 29 crores. And accordingly, the bid project cost, which was 2,004.5 crores, is forecasted at as bidded level at 1,976 crores. And with the escalations, it is approximated to be approximately 2,272 crores. We have received the mobilization advance for this project. The second tranche of the same has been received. The last road project that I would want, or the PPP project, last road project that I would want to cover is Mukarwa Chowk Panipat, or MCP project. It is a BOT toll project which we acquired from SL. The project is acquired through a process of harmonious substitution in June 2020. The original project cost was estimated to be 2,122 crores, out of which 1,593 crores was balanced to be incurred to complete the project. At the end of Q1 FY 2022, the physical progress of the project stands at about 74.1%. We have applied for the PCOD for this particular project, and we expect the PCOD to be awarded soon. Coming to the water projects, or I would want to say a project, I would want to brief about the UP State Water Sanitation Mission project, which was awarded to a joint venture between Welspun Enterprises and Kaveri Infra Projects Limited with 70% share in the joint venture of Welspun Enterprises and it being the lead partner. This is a bid with the successful bidders and paneled for awards for 2 years, with the projects being evolved after the DPR is submitted and approved by the client. Hence, the value of the contract evolves as the DPRs are approved. The project entails the design, preparation of DPR, construction, commissioning, and operation of the project for 10 years post-completion. We have been allotted 2,544 projects. The originally estimated contract value for EPC phase or the construction phase is estimated to be 2,500 crores, excluding O&M and GST. At this point in time, we have submitted 434 DPRs, out of which 119 DPRs have been approved. Coming to the outlook of the business, on the road side, there are about 20 HAM projects of NHAI, which are totaling to about 23,000 crores. However, due to the relaxation and pre-qualification norms in the road projects, we are witnessing an increased competitive intensity, both in terms of number of bidders, which are higher, as well as aggressive price bid. We thus are being very selective in our evaluation of the opportunities and bidding for the road sector. We are also evaluating opportunities in the adjacencies like railways, and accordingly we have recently participated in a Railway Land Development Authority or RLDA RFQ for redevelopment of Lucknow railway station. Our submissions are under evaluation at this stage. On the water side, I would want to brief that we see a huge opportunity in the scheme of Har Ghar Nal Se Jal, a scheme which is targeted to provide drinking water access to all by 2024. We see a potential of almost 6 lakh crores over the next 4 years in this segment alone, and WEL wants to focus on these projects and will actively participate in the bids. We will continue to explore inorganic growth opportunities through a measured evaluation of risk-return parameters, and also continue to pursue an asset-light model while focusing on operational excellence and prudent risk management. With this, I now hand over the call to Mr. Akhil Jindal for the financial highlights.
Yeah, thank you, Sandeep, and good afternoon to everyone on this call today. Many thanks for being a part of our journey. I would just like to briefly touch upon the financial numbers which were published yesterday a little late in the day. So to that extent, if anyone has not got a chance, I just want to repeat the key highlight numbers. Our revenue was up by 97.7% on a YOY basis, which is around 344 crores. Clearly, the last year, same period was heavily disrupted by COVID. We also had some effect in the first quarter this year, but nevertheless, the numbers are much better than the last year. The Q1 EBITDA is 41.4 crores, the total EBITDA 41.4. Then this is also up 50.4% on a YOY basis. The EBITDA as a margin percentage is around 11.7%. Now this is a little muted than what we plan internally, and also what we try and achieve. This due to some orders which are executed in this quarter, which had a little lower profit margin. But we, on an overall basis, we are pretty hopeful that in a year's time, we would be in and around 12% plus mark on the overall EBITDA as we have always delivered in the past. The cash PAT of the company in this quarter was around 23.5 crores. Now these are all additions which are happening in the company for the future growth. So there's just a Q1 PAT of 23.5, which was there in the last quarter. Now on the investment side, because we have two models, as you would know, one is the EPC model which Sandeep touched upon on each and every project. On the investment side, we are happy to share that most of our projects had been fully funded and we have nearly achieved financial closure, or rather the CODs and the PCODs on the project. So that means a significant amount of money has already been invested. What is left to be invested going forward is 207 crores all in all, 160 being on the road side and 39 being on the oil and gas side. So while we talk today, our total invested or the investment book, if I may use that word, is around 2035, largely into the HAM projects for around 1,000 crores, road projects for around 524 crores, oil and gas being 361, water BOT being 94, and other assets being 54. The total assets size that we have on the investment side is over 2,000 crore today. And naturally, as we finish more projects, mostly within this financial year, we are also going to liquidate many of these at the right time, at the right valuation. So many of these 2,000 crore investments will also likely to get free by the end of this year and the beginning of next year. So I think at a balance sheet side, our net debt is roughly around 471 crores. Now this is a little up than the previous quarter, where we were 200 crores. So clearly most of the money that is going is in the investments and completing the projects. We have a little extra working capital also during this quarter, primarily on account of some receivables from PWD and from GST claims from NHAI. So that means the net current assets have gone up from 50 crore, which was as on 31st March 21, to around 224 crores in June. Now obviously we have not been drawing our limits, so the short-term debt, which was drawn at 97 crores in 31st March, has remained more or less the same at 90 crores on 30th June. So clearly, most of the net current assets that are funded from 50 to 224 has been funded out of our own let's say cash surplus. And to that extent, our cash and cash equivalent has come down from 375 crore to 95 crore. But clearly, we have a lot of room for drawal of the facility as and when we require. And our investment cycle is also nearly over, with just 200 crore to be invested in the balance projects. So there is no need for raising any further money in Welspun Enterprise level. So all the short-term assets that we have got are they can be funded by the short-term assets, short-term loans, and all the long-terms are fully funded, as I mentioned to you. So to that extent, I think we are, the company is well levered, and our net debt to EBITDA is only going to improve from here on. Our net debt to equity is also quite comfortable at a net worth of 1840 and a net debt of around 470. So you can imagine it's almost like around 30% leverage, which is very low for an infrastructure zone. But I think we are happy with that. And also, the CARE has restated our rating after our numbers at AA. I'm sorry, not CARE, the Brickwork has restated our rating at AA minus. which makes us one of the few companies in the infrastructure zone to have a rating in the AA family. And I think L&T and I think one or two more companies. So that means our financial acumen over the last 2 to 3 years has been well understood by the rating agencies and also the lending community. Some of the loans that we have raised are at a very fine price, as Sandeep mentioned, at 7.25 for the project like AM2 7.25, and even for the HAM projects at the GSY and the CGRG at 7.75. So as we complete more and more of these projects, the interest rates are only going to come down, because eventually once the CODs are also achieved, our rating will migrate from AA family to AAA naturally, and that will bring the cost of borrowing from 7.75 to under 7.5. I would imagine 7.45 to be precise will be the journey from here on. Second quarter, that is something that we would like to achieve. By the time we have another call after the second quarter, the completed projects should be under 7.5% is what our internal aim is. So with this, I open the floor for the questions. If anyone has a question, please feel free to ask. We will try and cover as much as we can during this call. Should any question is still left unanswered, you can always reach out to our internal IR team, and we'll be happy to answer any of your pending questions. Thank you very much, and moderator, you can open the floor for the questions now.
Thank you very much. We'll now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The first question is from the line of Rohit from Antique Stock Broking. Please go ahead.
Thank you for this opportunity. Sir, given the current situation that we have moved from a stressful Q1, what is that normalization process looking like? What is the execution that you are expecting in this particular year itself?
So, I think whilst the COVID-2 has impacted us to some extent in the Q1, and the impact is now on the wane. The challenge is that we do not know how the third wave will play out. So in these turbulent times, it will be incorrect for me to give a forecast for how the whole thing will pan out in this financial year. However, if the order book is to be recognized of about 8,100 crores, which gives us a clear visibility for about 3 years, we would expect the execution to be pro rata over the next 3 years. So that would be the kind of numbers that will pan out, but I would refrain from giving any guidance on that.
Sure, sir. My second question will be more on the order inflow part. I understand we are having some negotiations with NHAI on that Kerala-based project. But you have also talked about some other projects where you see some competitive intensity from other players with NHAI relaxing the threshold, water-based opportunities also as well, and some of the railway projects too. But in terms of a targeted order inflow, what is that number we have in mind?
So, as I had covered earlier, and I was going to repeat, there is a large project with NCGM for which we have opened, which in terms of EPC value itself is about 3,500 crores. If that fructifies, that will be a very large order addition. My intent of this for this financial year is to add one more project, and then wait for the competitive intensities to ease off, and then gradually move to a scenario of one project every quarter kind of order flow for the next year. So this year our target will be to add one more project, at most 2 projects.
Sure, sir. And finally, if I may ask one more question, this is more to do with the UP-based project and the both UP-based EPC road project as well as the water project. What is the execution timeline? As in, what percentage of order will be executed this year and maybe the next year and so forth? What is the life cycle of those projects?
So the life cycle of these projects is that these projects are supposed to be completed in 24 months after the CPR are approved. As of now, as we speak, we have approximately about 950 crores worth of contracts DPR given issued to the client. So within the 24 months from now, we expect all these 2,500 crores worth of orders to be executed.
Just to reiterate that point, 70% is the executable portion which is recognized as a part of order backlog, which is this 2,500 crore number.
Sorry, I couldn't get your question. Could you kindly repeat?
Sir, the follow-up on this water project where you have a JV partner with 70% share, if I'm not mistaken. So this 25 billion or 2,500 crore outstanding order backlog that you have with this project is JV share in that project.
So just to clarify that all the EPC work for the project will be delivered by Welspun Enterprises. The JV partner is has in the JV 30% equity, but however they are not going to do physical work. Physical work is going to be executed by Welspun Enterprises only.
They're our technical partners.
So they're practically our technical partners.
I appreciate that, sir. That's it from my side now. Should there be any other questions, I'll get back in the queue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Ajay Luthra from JM Financial Service. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. This order that you talked of 3,500 odd crores, where you have become L1, by when do you expect to get the order, or by when would that get finalized?
So this is a large value order, which is where we are very much higher than the original estimate of the client. So we are currently in process of discussions with the client. So we are not saying that this order is under the belt. We will have some clarity in next 60 days as to whether this project, which way this project is moving ahead. The validity of this bid is up to December 2021, which is the final date by which we will know the outcome of this project.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Sudarshan, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, just wanted to check because we have unexecuted order book of around 8,000 crores, which has to be executed in say 24 to 30 months. So average it looks like it's 3,000 per annum. So which quarter you expect to do at least 600 crores type of turnover?
So if all goes well in terms of the situations which are beyond our control, we expect in the Q3 the turnovers to rise to that level or therearound.
When you say the factors which is beyond our control is related to COVID, or you're talking about NHAI, road, land availability, or other stuff also?
So I think the only thing that we are referring to it is primarily the COVID or similar events like there are certain events like farmer agitation which are way beyond control of NHAI and the concessionaire or the contractor. So events which are beyond the control of the authority or the concessionaire is what I'm referring to.
So the two large projects in this 8,000 crore is your Varanasi Aurangabad and your Tamil Nadu project. So are we all geared from all the approval and from our own perspective to start booking revenue, or is still some more approvals required there?
So in terms of the Tamil Nadu or Sadanathapuram Nagapattinam road project, we are fully mobilized on site to start recognizing revenue from the project. So all adequate approvals are in place. In terms of the Varanasi Aurangabad road project, the approvals from NHAI in terms of the deal between the concessionaire and NHAI, it has been approved. So all approvals in terms of the project to start are in place. We expect the project to start somewhere in September 2021. And then we will be in a position to start recognizing revenue for that one.
Okay, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Mohit Kumar. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Sir, two questions. Firstly, on the, of course, we have included the Varanasi projects in our order book, but Kerala one is pending, right? So what is this? What is the status of Kerala, and how and when do you expect this to become part of our portfolio? And what is the hindrance? What is the the issue you are facing right now in terms of closing this deal?
So on the as I said, Varanasi Aurangabad road project, all the issues between the concessionaire and the NHAI stand resolved, and we are quite confident that project would start generating revenue from September 2021. However, on the Kozhikode bypass, which we were trying to take over through a process of harmonious substitution, NHAI has taken a certain position in terms of the levy of 1% penalty on the existing concessionaire and for the harmonious substitution, and also that they will not consider extension of time at the time of harmonious substitution. We are not confident at this point in time that we will be able to convince the client to reconsider these stands. If we fail to help NHAI reconsider the stands, we may have to rethink about these projects. So hence, we are not currently considering this project as part of our portfolio. So we will update the investors once the clarity emerges around these few sticky points on the harmonious substitution.
Yes, sir. Secondly, sir, do we have enough opportunities of this kind of harmonious substitution going forward? Do you think that we will be able to, I'm talking about the opportunity set. Is the opportunity available to close more projects like this in this fiscal?
So the answer is let me answer this. There are enough projects under distress for sure in the industry, but will they meet our return expectation for us to get into a mode of business substitution? The answer is that we have not evaluated anything at this point in time which meets our threshold return expectation. So if something comes through, we will surely evaluate them and appraise if we should take over those projects or we should not.
Understood, sir. And lastly, on the water projects, sir, how do you think UP, we haven't seen too many tenders on the block. Have you seen any more tenders from the states in last few months? And do you think what kind of opportunity size available, especially in the next 8 to 9 months?
So in terms of water, I think there are substantive opportunities. They may not be in the direct domains where we may want to, participate, but we see substantial 11 orders by NVDA in Madhya Pradesh being considered at this point in time. So there are projects in Pune which are being considered in the water segments. There are about 10,000 crores of water projects similar to the one we have in UP in Madhya Pradesh. So there are a lot of water projects which are getting announced as we speak, but since these are from scattered agencies, they are not getting consolidated as a single number. So water as an opportunity offers a huge canvas, both in terms of the client base and in terms of the kind of projects that are available.
Okay. And sir, a couple of more questions if you may ask. So where are we in terms of monetizing our, especially our 2 or 3 HAM assets? So is something on the cards we are considering right now, or is something which you want to do in FY23, FY24, and you are not looking at it at all at this point of time?
I think it would be more like a H2 exercise rather than FY23 exercise. So as Sandeep mentioned, with 3 projects now operational and the annuities are getting received, timely annuities on each one of them. It's a matter of time that we complete our 2 more projects on the HAM side during this quarter. When I say during this quarter, means Q2 quarter, and at the same time achieve PCOD on one of the BOOT projects. So with these 6 projects, under our belt, all complete operational revenue generating, is the right time for us to be visible in the market as a last platform deal, then individual singular asset by asset sale, because that doesn't fetch the right results. So clearly it would be a H2 exercise, something that we would strive to achieve by the February March of 2022, or if not in the beginning of the next financial year. We will start seeing some of the exits from some of these completed assets.
Understood, sir. Lastly, on this Lucknow rail and Lucknow railway station, can you please clarify what kind of opportunity there in terms of size and what kind of scope we have?
So this is the RFQ stage of the project where we are qualifying for the project. The opportunity exists for redevelopment of the station and the land around it. And as you would know, these are like investment projects, which based on the vision and design of the concessionaire will determine the costs to be incurred, and the revenue streams are identified. So it's a design, build, and monetization opportunity. So each individual concessionaire will look at it differently, but to give you a ballpark figure, this will be in the range of 1,000+ crores as a base any concessionaire will look at.
Understood, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. As there are no further questions, I will now hand the conference over to Mr. Mohit Kumar for closing comments.
I think there are a couple of key people in the queue.
So we just got a few questions in the queue. The next question is from the line of Rohit from Antique Stock Broking. Please go ahead.
Once again. So my question is more to do with this bookkeeping question. Can you just help us through? There are some projects where we have got PCOD, but they are still having some exposure in the order backlog. So what is? It's a minuscule portion, I understand, but what is the nature of that order, and will you be executing it in this fiscal?
So, as you know, there are two kinds of things that are left out of the PCOD. Certain areas where client is not in a position to hand over the land, or certain sections of the work which cannot be completed due to constraints, local constraints, they are listed separately at the time of PCOD. And then those particular project actions are completed over the next few months or maybe larger period. So all these orders of 10-12 crores represent those sections where, due to certain constraints, work could not be completed by the concessionaire. However, NHAI reserves its rights to ask the concessionaire to complete that project once the constraints are removed.
Sure. I mean, by any chance, will there be any descoping or something that can come across?
I don't foresee that, because whatever was to be descoped has already been descoped. So when we say the bid completed project cost, the descoping sections have already been factored into that.
Sure, sir. Sir, my final question will be more on this oil and gas projects that you have current exposure. You also have some investments lined up. You were earlier planning to do a feasibility report and then do a subsequent value unlocking. What exactly is the status over there?
So, to give you I had kind of addressed that last time as well, and I will repeat. So, we expect the technical due diligences to continue between now and December of 2021. By the time we will have all the detailed investigations of the course that we have got out, the CVT analysis that we are making on the resources available, and also the inversion of the seismic records that we have and establishing a correlation. So this process will continue till about December, and by that time we will want the certifying agencies to certify the reserves stroke resources, and that is when we will have a clarity around the whole developmental model that we want to use for these projects. So that's when the clarity will emerge, where actually we can brief you a bit better than more than what we have already briefed you all.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you. That's it from my side. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Chandrasekhar, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. Sir, mine is a more general question. So, as we know that we have been following an asset-light model. So my doubt is, especially in these kind of situations when worldwide we are facing a lot of constraints. So is it possible that when a lot of projects are lined up by government, so we'll face any constraint in the availability of contractors who have the equipment ready to construct or complete the project? Like, is it a risk that is there because of following this model, or are we prepared like it is not an issue, or is it not a risk at all? So that is my question, sir.
Thanks. Very interesting question.
Yes.
Let me address it in two ways.
Yes, sir.
I would want to address that if you follow the bidding pattern in NHAI on EPC contracts, most of the EPC contracts are going in the ranges of -15% to -25%. So what it tells you is that there is a huge amount of capacity of the EPC contractors who want to take up the EPC work. So I don't see that challenge that the capacity will dry up quickly. Second way I would want to address this thing is that there are certain key assets in terms of construction equipment that the company has acquired. However, they are right now available for us to be utilized on the projects and held for sale. However, those are available for us to augment any contingency that may come up on any of the projects or with any of the contractors. So we have played it in terms of mitigation plan, a reasonably well-balanced strategy there.
So, sorry, sir, can I continue? So, so if in case like in future we are getting more and more projects, is it possible that we can augment it to meet the when we compare with other builders, other contractors, other infrastructure companies, which have already huge existing capacities. So is it possible to augment in a reasonable time, or is it not our? It is not in our plan at all.
So let me say that this is not a preferred option. However, we are alive to business realities, and we are acutely aware as to if the business cycle moves to a particular direction, then we need to respond very quickly. The good thing is that we have a very healthy balance sheet which allows us to very quickly move in a direction that we choose to move, and we are not constrained unlike most of the industry to be straddled with a situation that even if they want to move, they can't move.
Thank you, sir. That answers my question.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. As there are no further questions, I will now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate your participating in this investor call. I can assure that Welspun Enterprise will continue its journey of operational excellence on an approximate 12,000 crore road order portfolio. We will remain focused on unlocking value through recycling of the capital at an appropriate time. The water segment, where we operate in EPC mode as well, we will continue to look at opportunities for value creation. I thank you all for questions, and if there are any further queries, you may get in touch with our investor relationship team, who would be very happy to respond to your questions. Thank you and good day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
On
behalf of DAM Capital Advisors Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect your lines.